Doc, come in. Are you there? Hey, Doc, are you there?
Wait, all unit deserters. Remaining units contained.
Hi, my name's Gabe Newell. I'm CEO of Valve. We're the makers of Half-Life 2 and Counter-Strike, and I'm going to be telling you about the Xbox version of Half-Life 2. So the decision to do an Xbox version was made very early on. Jay Stelly, who headed up development for Half-Life 2, has a console background, so we had it running on the Xbox fairly early. In addition, there are a set of interesting technical challenges, how we do memory management and how we do handle user interface that are actually sort of interesting across the board, and we always had wanted to tackle those. But the decision to do Xbox was made at the beginning. One thing that we've always felt was really important and has been important for our success has been networking and being a good client of the internet. And until Xbox Live, none of the consoles were able to do that. When you look at the value we created for people, a lot of it was in giving them more content over time, and that's what drove our success in a lot of ways. So now as the console platforms are being able to do those things, they become a lot more attractive for us. I don't find thinking about the platform nearly as useful as thinking about the gamer and the game experience. I think that those distinctions are overrated, and just a sharper focus on what the player is thinking about and experiencing is just, you get a much better return for thinking about the player than you do worrying about, is this a console experience or a PC experience? The most meaningful reward or sense of accomplishment has come from interacting with gamers, longtime fans who have the game. We brought a bunch of people out here. We run into them when we go to events, and getting a sense from them that we didn't screw it up, right? That we had this tremendous opportunity, that we had this really loyal following, and they're saying, good job, that was more than I expected. So much of what we do is like what we're working on right now. So to me, like if you ask me today what I'm thinking about the emotional reactions that people have to that security guard who knocks over the can, because that was more successful than we were expecting it to be. People hate that guy. Like, I get the opposite of fan mail for that guy saying, why didn't I get to, blow him up later? Why didn't he reappear later in the game so I could get even with him, when I was powerful? And, given what we're developing right now, I'm like saying, okay, that worked. It was less intentional than it should have been from a design perspective. How do we do more of that? So as we look going forward, what are the functions that we think we need, in terms of billing, anti-piracy, updating, incremental content? We took a stab at packaging those services together in Steam, and so there's sort of a laundry list of the functions we'd like to see in future consoles, right? And we think that our requirements aren't really that different from other developers, that they're going to arrive at the same conclusion that, oh yeah, instant messaging inside of the game to people who aren't in the game, that's a good idea. Being able to do billing and is a good idea. And in the future, doing things like micropayments or other solutions for mod content or third-party content, that's a good idea that Steam doesn't have, that would be nice to see coming out of these platforms. So we do expect that any platform has to look at these requirements from developers and come up with a strategy for how they're going to offer them to us or to other developers. In terms of for future consoles, I think everything that you've seen on the PC are of value to customers, whether it's modifications or updates or new maps, and those are of tremendous value to customers. We sold more copies of Half-Life the third year than we did the first year. Why? It was lots of reasons, but one of the biggest was there were more mods and maps and player models and things like that. So consoles need to move in that direction, because if they do, gamers are going to reward them. That's part of the experience that's really valuable. And game companies like ourselves and platform providers really need to figure out how to do that. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoy playing Half-Life 2 on the Xbox when we ship in the third quarter.